Straker didn't like to get out. He didn't like to get out of the office. You know, he was more comfortable in the office than in these devices. That was for Colonel Foster and the other active guys. Many actors speak and they don't know what they're talking about. But we did know what the models could do. We knew how they fired, how they operated. So whenever you were in a mock-up set, just a set built of a section of one of these things, you knew what you were doing. If you press that button, you could destroy this, or that would happen. Seeing all these scripts here brings back so many fond memories of all the hard work we did. I was, as you say, with Jerry and Sylvia on Captain Scarlet and the Mysterons, the puppet series. I just did the voice for that. And when they were casting UFO, I was invited to come along and play Straker, who was originally intended just to be in about 3 days shooting out of a 10-day schedule, because he was supposed to be in the office and stay there and give the orders and things. But I think the writers gradually started to like the character of Straker, so they began to write more and more for him. And he seemed to be the one character that they could put here and send here and then have trouble with his wife and children and all the rest of it. So that was basically how I got the job and how I was working with the Andersons, and how the character developed throughout the series. And my development of the character of Straker was like many actors. You take a piece of this person and that person and a little bit of that you've read and your own experiences, and you put them all together and you come up with something that you hope is interesting. The thing with Straker, I think, is important, is that most people have a black and white and a gray in their lives. But Straker, it was just black or white. And I think that dedication of purpose was basically how I approached the part. I would like to have carried on making more UFOs, because I think by that time we had understood what we were doing, who our characters were. We became a very fluid team, and it was very effective, and I think the script writers were catching up with the series. And I think had we gone for another series, it would have been an excellent series. And as I've said before, and I will say again and again, the work was so hard that we had very little time for anything else except to get on there and deliver the goods. We had to know our lines. We had to know our way around the set. We had to know our relationships with each other. I think the phrase today in English, I don't know how it would translate, is you had to stay focused, you know. So you had no chance for anything else. But George Sewell was a very funny man. He had a great sense of humor, and his wit was very quick. So I was like the straight man, and George made the jokes. Mike was quiet and very serious, and he stayed focused. But George was the kidder, and whenever we had a scene together, I would look forward to that. I can tell you one thing I hated was, as I've talked about earlier, or later on we'll mention it more, is working in the cars. I just didn't like that at all.
Were you aware of any particular success somewhere in the world?
Yes, it didn't surprise us at all, because the Andersons had been very, very successful in merchandising all of their other products, all the puppet series that they had done before. They were very clever in doing the spin-offs from the series with the dolls and comic books and all the rest of it. So this kind of merchandising approach didn't surprise me. It did surprise me to see that it was so worldwide, And in some areas, I didn't get so much mail. The Netherlands, not a lot, but a lot from Italy, a lot from Germany, England, Japan. It was very popular. So it's very interesting to see where it worked in certain countries, and in other countries it didn't work so well. Australia, it was not very popular. Canada, no. But the United States, it was not bad. I would say that all the costumes were very comfortable to wear and very easy to work in. The sort of jumpsuits and the polo neck sweaters. I didn't have any problem with any of them, really. I liked best, there was a very light blue one that I wore. And I felt very comfortable in that, and I think I looked very good in it. I think that was probably one of the better costumes. The ones I didn't like were the space suits, which I fortunately didn't have to get into too often. And the worst one of all, I only wore it in one episode. I don't know what it was called, but I think Reflections in the Water. When we had these wetsuits on, Michael and I spent about 3 days in this wetsuit under the heavy lights, and I lost a lot of weight and sweated. Oh, it was terrible. But generally speaking, I was very happy with the costumes. Obviously, the wig was a very central part of Straker, the visual presentation of it. And every morning I had to put it on, and every night I had to take it off. And down here on the sides they would put gum, spirit gum, and they would stick it on there. So every night they had to off, and then they had to take chemicals to get rid of the thing on my skin. So it was quite a production. We had a lot of problems in one episode where it was flashback. It might have been confetti check, but I had to keep taking the wig off, in the middle of the day, and then go to my normal hair and all the rest of it. But like the cars, you got used to it, and I got used to it after a while. Yes, the Straker cars were terrible, because in the cars you were all closed in. You could not get any fresh air. Now, of course, in a vehicle like this, you get all the fresh air you want. So it's much more fun to be out in the open with a vehicle if you have to do it. As far as I can recall, I think that is the only one time that I was in this vehicle with Wanda in Time Lash. I don't think I got out anymore in these vehicles. But these were very sensitive because they actually worked. You could drive these cars. Straker's car and the other car had to be put on a trailer and had to be pulled along. But this vehicle, you could actually get your hands on it and steer and actually drive, and they'd have a guy with the camera in the back. So by and large, I like this. And I think that this thing here, if you can see that, I think this is what they call a roll bar. And I think that it was new at the time when we were filming it, so that if the vehicle went over, you were protected by this roll bar. And I think that was new at that time. I may be wrong about that, but I don't think so. Here I'm wearing the Straker watch, and it is still going, and I am still going, and the interest in UFO is still going, and I am very amazed and very humble that people still like the series after all this time, and people like yourself and Paolo, who could get this vehicle together and restore it to the way it was when we were using it in the series. It's very touching and very moving, and I'm very impressed by it all, and I wish you all continued enjoyment of the series for a long time yet to come.